Your top stories this evening sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Nigel Hughes, MAHIPAUL leave door open for further APNU+AFC coalition talks. Is May Thomas still being paid by the government? JAGDEO says she won't be an elections candidate for the PPPC. AFC chairman alleges conflict of interest over AG's role in offering legal advice to GECOM. And amid US sanctions threat, JAGDEO says Guyana not relying solely on CUBA healthcare workers. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Friday, June 13 edition of the HGP Nightly News. Here's what you need to know this evening. As questions continue to swirl around about a possible APNU+AFC coalition ahead of the 2025 polls, leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, and executive member of the People's National Congress Reform, MAHIPAUL, today said there's still room for engagement and compromise. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Talks between a Partnership for National Unity, APNU, and the Alliance for Change, AFC, broke down in April. However, no revelations show that during the early stages of negotiations, the AFC had proposed receiving 65% of cabinet appointments, including the Office of the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Finance, and the Office of the Attorney General, as well as the role of representative of the list. At a press conference on Friday, AFC leader Nigel Hughes was asked whether there is still hope for the two parties to come together and if he envisions a shift in positions to accommodate a coalition agreement.
I think there will always be, I believe, a commitment to try and find that middle ground where everybody is comfortable. So if one has that in the range of options, then yes.
Hughes also confirmed that AFC had agreed to PNCR leader Aubrey Norton serving as the presidential candidate in a potential APNU+AFC coalition. However, he said that agreement came with conditions that were ultimately rejected.
One of the proposals we did make included him in that position, and that proposal with the conditions was not accepted.
Meanwhile, PNCR Central Executive Member MAHIPAUL, when asked whether a coalition is still possible, struck an optimistic tone, suggesting that a deal could come together quickly, depending on key political deadlines.
Is what seems to be far from achieving can be achieved with just the click of a finger. So it may look like it's in the distance right now, but maybe as soon as I come off this press conference, it can be achieved. Let's wait and see how that goes. The date for submission of the symbol is important, and the date of nomination is equally important in knowing whether it will be an APNU+AFC.
Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Civic, JAGDEO, has shrugged off questions about whether a sanctioned member of his party, who is also a former permanent secretary, is still being paid by the government. He can only confirm that she won't be an election candidate for the PPPC. There is confirmation from General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Civic, JAGDEO, that United States sanctioned the People's Progressive Party member May Thomas would not be a candidate for the September 1, 2025 general and regional elections.
The way I see it, I don't know. I don't think she wants to be on the list, but the way I personally see it, no, she will not be on the list. That's how I see it, personally.
Political parties desirous of contesting the upcoming elections will be required to submit their respective lists of candidates on July 14, nomination day, to the Guyana Elections Commission. Mr. JAGDEO was asked instead whether May Thomas was still being paid by the government, even though she has been sanctioned and sent on leave by the PPPC government.
I wouldn't know that.
Mr. JAGDEO, though, seems to have a soft spot for May Thomas.
But please don't make me the issue here. You have a big sanction man for 10,000 kilograms of gold that caused May to get sanctioned. And he now is poor May you're going after, and you'll give the old crook yes.
Thomas, according to the United States, misused her position to influence the award of official contract bids and the approval processes for weapons, permits, and passports on behalf of Mohammed's enterprise. In 2023, Thomas was in transit to China when she was subjected to what is called a secondary inspection by U.S. Customs and Border Protection at Miami Airport. They seized her cell phone and questioned her for an unknown period of time. It subsequently became public knowledge that her visa had been revoked. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. We tell you now that Chairman of the Alliance for Change, David Patterson, is questioning the independence of the Guyana Elections Commission as concerns mount over the Attorney General's involvement in offering legal advice to the electoral body. Here's Tiana Cole with more.
Alliance for Change AFC Chairman David Patterson is weighing in on the controversy surrounding the Attorney General's recent statements that he is not GECOM's legal advisor, but is merely offering his legal opinion. Patterson, in an exclusive interview with this newscast, said for years GECOM had its own independent legal advisor. He expressed concern that after GECOM chose not to renew Kurt De Silva's contract, the body has yet to advertise the position or appoint a replacement, opting instead to take legal advice from the Attorney General.
The PPP likes to shout and claim about that there's a conflict of interest with our leader on oil and gas, but they turn a blind eye to the blatant conflict of interest that Anin and Alan poses as a contestant, as a member of the PPP, providing legal advice to a constitutionally independent committee.
Patterson argued that any decision made by the Attorney General would likely favor the People's Progressive Party and described the situation as a serious concern, especially given the high stakes of the upcoming general and regional elections. He added that should there be any legal challenge involving GECOM, where the contesting parties are all involved, it would present a clear conflict of interest.
GECOM lawyers and in the PPP's lawyers and in I mean, come on, that is it's unheard of in the 21st century.
On June 3, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anin Nandla Senior Counsel, during his weekly program Issues in the News, stated that opposition-nominated commissioners will not be allowed to hold GECOM at ransom. He emphasized that preparations for the elections will proceed with or without their participation.
So Charles Corbyn, Vincent Alexander, and Desmond Trotman are engaging in the regular form of conduct. They are attending the meetings and then they are walking out to make it inchoate. You cannot hold the Elections Commission at ransom.
Despite his earlier remarks, the Attorney General clarified last Tuesday that he is not GECOM's official legal advisor. He emphasized that while he is the most senior legal officer of the state and represents the government, that role does not equate to offering formal legal counsel to the Elections Commission.
So, Mr. Hughes, for your benefit, the Attorney General is not the legal advisor of GECOM, but offered his opinion as was requested and has offered his legal opinion to many independent constitutional agencies.
Tiana reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
You're watching the HGP Nightly News. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover a solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc. powering your life with elegance, quality, and care.
With 70% ethyl alcohol, Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer eliminates 99.99% of all germs and even moisturizes in the process, leaving your skin clean and hydrated. Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer. How do you stay clean?
They stop I don't feel I don't go away when y'all don't eat me food, you know. Y'all got fair wash your place because I did my nails. Somebody boy, they're gonna make a nice cake. Here's my good cake on upon the same.
Madam, I got a call from the people in the community and they said you are disturbing the peace. You're smelling up the place and you're doing something, but your food always seems to smell good.
Peppies, you get the best on these things.
These things just make you cook good. I want these things and I'll carry them for evidence.
Do I love all of you?
Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
And you?
Krishna Roth Establishment. No job is too small or too large. We specialize in all types of fabricating, machinery, excavator repairs, rice field pumps, and hydraulic hoses. Visit us at Lot 113, Block CC Monrepo, East Coast, Demerara, or call 220-9624, 616-9416, or 619-7880. At Krishna Roth Establishment, no job is too small or too large.
GECOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing June 16, 2025 to produce an official list of electors for the conduct of general and regional elections on September 1, 2025. GECOM will post the preliminary list of electors in all registration divisions for you to check if you are listed and if your particulars are accurate. If you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2025 and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. If you are eligible for inclusion, you are required to apply for registration if your name is not on the PLE. Apply for a transfer if you have changed your address since you were registered. Apply for a name change if you have changed your name. Apply for a correction if your particulars are incorrect. Any person applying for a change or correction must provide the relevant original source document, birth certificate and deed poll for a name change by deed poll, marriage certificate and ID card for a name change by marriage, divorce absolute in the case of a woman who is desirous of reverting to her maiden name from her married name, birth certificate, adoption certificate, naturalization certificate for correction of minor clerical errors. Visit the GECOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of these transactions. The claims aspect of this exercise will end on Wednesday, June 18, 2025. For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Welcome back to the HGP Nightly News. Antonio Day tells us that executive member of the People's National Congress Reform, MAHIPAUL, says the Guyana Elections Commission cannot make last-minute decisions and expect to deliver efficient results for the September general and regional elections.
The Guyana Elections Commission approved a modified version of the nomination form that is statutorily required to be submitted along with the list of candidates by political parties to contest general and regional elections. The modified version of the form was proposed by Chief Election Officer Vishnu Prasad, according to a statement released by the agency on Friday. While Ganesh MAHIPAUL, executive member of the People's National Congress Reform, PNCR, has welcomed this move, he is irked that the decision was made at a last minute.
What this change seeks to do is to ensure that there is authentic signatures. And history has shown that it is only the People's Progressive Party that has ever engaged in having fraudulent signatures. It is irresponsible for GECOM to suddenly make this decision knowing that this issue existed for quite some time now.
MAHIPAUL said this new development will result in parties, including the PNCR, expending resources on work which was already done.
It will now require political parties to expend additional resources to go and redo work that were already done. And I must point out that the APNU have basically completed their signatures, and the completed work was done on the old form. Now we have to go and redo the very work that we did just a couple of weeks ago.
These nomination forms are used to record the particulars of the nominators submitting the list of candidates. For 1, the national top-up list of candidates, 2, the geographic constituency list of candidates, and 3, the Regional Democratic Council list of candidates. MAHIPAUL assured that GECOM's last-minute decision will not prevent the party from being fully geared for the polls.
We will be going out again, and we will be getting our signatures as we have gotten them before, and we will be ready for these elections to meet the timelines, and we will defeat the People's Progressive Party and take government come September.
Moreover, AFC Chairman David Patterson also addressed the subject.
On the face of it, that's not a problem. What is the problem? Is you can't do that 4 weeks before nomination day. 3 weeks after we've sent people at great expense.
I'm Antonio De reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Antonio, for your reporting. Meanwhile, General Secretary of the People's National Congress Reform, Shorin Benjamin, has confirmed that Geeta Chandan Edmund has tendered her resignation. However, efforts are ongoing to remove the former member from the seat she occupies in Parliament through the party's formal recall process.
And it requires writing to the representative of the list, and the process flows from there. Met at the central executive level and decided that she can no longer represent our interests.
That was Ganesh MAHIPAUL, Central Executive Member of the People's National Congress Reform. Recently, Geeta Chandan Edmund, during a parliamentary sitting, endorsed President Irfan Ali for a second term. Her endorsement, like others, has left a bitter taste in the mouths of PNCR officials. MAHIPAUL argued that Edmund's endorsement violates the electorate's trust and the fundamental principle of party list representation. With the general elections just months away, the PNCR noted that it gave Edmund a brief opportunity to resign voluntarily before initiating the recall process.
I think he betrayed the PNCR because the PNCR extracted her to represent the PNCR's interests. And for me, she betrayed the PNCR, she betrayed me.
Her failure to act now has forced the party's hand. MAHIPAUL signaled that the PNCR intends to hold all defectors accountable, starting with Edmund.
So one would have expected that would have taken precedence in her actions. But clearly it did not, and therefore it requires the party to now take its rightful steps.
Daniel Siram, former Region 4 chairman, has also resigned from the PNCR and endorsed President Ali. Samuel Sandy, former Region 4 vice chairman, has also broken ranks and has also endorsed the PPPC. I'm Antonio De reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Sections of society are weighing in on a magistrate's decision to remand a social media singing sensation to prison over blasphemous libel. More details in this report. Diamond Magistrate Judy Latchman has remanded Daniel Wharton, well known as Baby Skellow, to prison until the 1st of July. Wharton has been charged with blasphemous libel stemming from a song he released on TikTok, which allegedly portrays the Hindu goddess Lakshmi in a vulgar manner. Police on May 12th had arrested Skellow, questioned him for several hours, then released him. Hours after his release from police custody on May 12th, Wharton removed the song from his social media pages and apologized to the Hindu community. He was also summoned by the Ethnic Relations Commission, who had promised to explore all legal avenues available under the laws of Guyana. The imprisonment of the local social media star is not resting well with some members of the local bar. Prominent attorney at law Says Gunraj wrote on Facebook, quote, "The remand of baby Skellow is unnecessary and excessive. His attempt at music was undoubtedly blasphemous and disrespectful, but refusal of bail ought not to be used as a penalty." Education Minister Priya Manikchand, also an attorney at law, wrote, "The bench needs to be consistent and sensible in its application of the law. We are jailing someone for mumbling or trying to sing something offensive against a female goddess, which was terrible and should never be encouraged or listened to, and which I personally condemn, but failing to address speedily domestic violence matters, where women are at the mercy of the court, failing to address matters of cyberbullying, where women's nude photographs are published online without their consent, and other truly egregious crimes against women. I truly hope he has a lawyer who will have this odd decision reversed at the High Court." Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
Hey, I would like to purchase all these auto parts here. This is for my Pitbull bus. This here is my bus as well, and this is here for my excavator. Only 71,600.
Yes, only at Gen N Accessories. We offer high-quality, affordable heavy-duty machinery spare parts for various machines at unbeatable prices. We also crimp hydraulic hoses.
So guys, if you're looking for your auto parts, whether it's for your heavy-duty machinery or let's say your Pitbull bus, please check out Gen N Accessories at Lot 1 Public Road, Priceless, East Coast, Demerara.
GECOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing June 16, 2025 to produce an official list of electors for the conduct of general and regional elections on September 1, 2025. If you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2025, and you're a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GECOM will post the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you need to visit the GECOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. If you do not apply for a transfer, you will have to go to the polling station where you will be listed to vote based on your previous residence. Wednesday, June 18, 2025 is the last day you can apply for a transfer during this exercise. For more information, contact GECOM on 225-02779 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
HGP Nightly News. On the police blotter, a charge of murder was read to a security guard on Friday. He's now remanded to prison. The police have charged 25-year-old Messiah Musindin, a security guard from Buxton Friendship, East Coast, Demerara, for the murder of 29-year-old Rondell Clark. Musidin, who was arrested by police on the 8th of June 2025, appeared at the Vigilance Magistrates Court Friday morning, where the charge was read to him. He was not required to plead to the indictable charge and was remanded to prison. The matter was postponed to the 15th of July 2025 and transferred to the Coven John Magistrates Court for report and filing of statements. The police have accused the 25-year-old of being responsible for the fatal shooting of Rondell Clark, which occurred on the 8th of June 2025 at Fowles, East Coast, Demerara. Police on Thursday said its investigators recovered a damaged metal fragment from the body of Clark following an autopsy. The fragment, according to the police, was immediately forwarded to the Criminal Investigations Department Crime Laboratory for ballistic analysis. The metal fragment, the police claim, was discharged from an AR-15 rifle that was in the possession of Messiah Musindin. Additionally, ballistic experts were able to match a 9mm spent shell casing recovered from the scene to a 9mm pistol that was in the possession of Devon Boucher, another security officer employed by Force Security Solutions. Clark was shot dead at 2nd Street, Fowles, on Sunday between 7:30 p.m. and 7:45 p.m. The dead man's family was suspicious of the police's action after they obtained video footage which showed a police vehicle chasing Clark from the railway embankment through the Fowles main access road as he rode his motorcycle. They are still questioning how did the private security officer open fire at Clark in the presence of the police. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic and the country's sitting Vice President JAGDEO says his government is prioritizing the global recruitment of healthcare professionals to meet local demands, even as the country remains mindful of U.S. concerns over Cuba's labor export program.
Amid warnings from the Donald Trump administration, which has threatened sanctions against countries using Cuba's medical labor program, accusing it of forced labor and human rights abuses, Guyana's Vice President JAGDEO says the country's recruitment strategy is not limited to Cuba. During his weekly press conference, JAGDEO clarified that Guyana is sourcing healthcare workers from multiple countries while ensuring that those coming from Cuba meet international standards.
But we're working to ensure that the people who come here from Cuba, that they meet the definition because of what the U.S. Secretary of State mentioned, that the conditions of work here don't run afoul of the requirements set by the United States of America. But we are recruiting from around the world.
He added that while there are many countries to recruit from, the government's long-term goal is to train as many Guyanese as possible to serve in the health sector.
So we are recruiting nursing assistants and a whole range of people to do that, to do the work. But right now, we don't have enough healthcare personnel to offer the expanded level of services that will come through the opening of these new hospitals. So we have to train more of our people. We have to increase their remuneration and working conditions.
JAGDEO emphasized that for now, foreign professionals are needed to bridge the gap and that the recruitment is being done from various parts of the world, not solely Cuba.
But we don't want this service to suffer because of the shortage of Guyanese healthcare professionals. We want a good quality service until we can fill those positions with our own people.
Guyana is set to open 5 more hospitals this year as part of its plan to expand healthcare access and improve service delivery across the country. Tiana Ko reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Your regional news is up next.
GECOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing June 16, 2025 to produce an official list of electors for the conduct of general and regional elections on September 1, 2025. If you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2025 and you're a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GECOM will post the preliminary list of electors in all registration divisions for you to check if you are listed and if your particulars are accurate. You can object to anyone you believe does not qualify for inclusion in the OLE. To do so, you must be listed on the same divisional list as the person you are objecting to. You must visit the GECOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to make an objection. The objections aspect of this exercise will end on Friday, June 20, 2025. For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-0277-9 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Turbo with a new look, new style, with the same great taste in the 250 ml can. Everybody run out now. Go and go grab one. Me charge up with a turbo 250 ml at your favorite spot. Wait, sell. New look, new can, same vibes. Jinxing, energize up your life. Vibes up, work time, anytime we are turn up the party with turbo can. Turbo can, turbo can, turbo can. Now available in the new 250 ml can. Turbo energy drink. Charge up today.
This Father's Day, Digicel is showing love to the real MVPs, all the father figures who hold it down every day. And we're not talking socks and ties. We're talking an 85-inch TV to watch his favorite sports and a barbecue grill fit for the king of the backyard. 4 lucky winners will take home this epic combo. Just top up $1,000 or more and boom, you're entered into the draw. Give dad the gift of entertainment. Top up now, grill and chill with Digicel this Father's Day.
Perfect location for put up a food stand. Put up food stand here? Yes, officer Bling. No, Granny, you can't put up no food stand here. Why not? Because the gas, the energy pipeline. Gas to energy? Why is that? They can bring gas from offshore to region 3. That can turn into electricity and other things. So what about if Granny put it up over there? No, Granny, listen. This whole area here, from here to the West Bank, is considered the right of way. So nobody can build, plant, dig, or burn nothing here.
But what if I am?
No buts, Granny. Listen, you could get yourself or others hurt. Watch, you see this number here? You call it if you see anybody doing anything out of the way or doing anything they're supposed to be doing, like building, digging, or burning stuff on the right of way.
All right, grandson, I hear you.
GECOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing June 16, 2025 to produce an official list of electors for the conduct of general and regional elections on September 1, 2025. If you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2025 and you're a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GECOM will post the preliminary list of electors PLE in all accurate. You can make a claim for registration, change, correction to your particulars, or you can object to the inclusion of anyone who you believe should not be on the list. If you are desirous of making a claim or objection, you must visit the GECOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to transactions. All GECOM registration offices will be open Monday, June 16 to Friday, June 20, 2025 from 8 to 18 hours. .org.gy.
Good evening and welcome to Friday's edition of the Regional News. Starting off with news in Barbados. 3 people have died while 8 others have been injured following a shooting in St. Michael this morning. Police say the shooting happened just before 2 a.m. at Majestic Bar on Nelson Street. 3 people died at the scene while 6 others sustained gunshot wounds and are receiving treatment at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Police say 2 other males with injuries are being treated at the scene. According to the police, a number of people were patronizing the bar when 3 masked men armed with firearms entered and fired a number of shots. Police Commissioner Richard Boyce has extended condolences to the families of those who lost their lives and wished the injured a full and speedy recovery. Turning attention to news in Trinidad and Tobago, the government has warned that the TNT Meteorological Services extension of the orange level rivering flood alert until 6 p.m. today means several hours of torrential rains, high winds, and more flooding can be expected. Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Khadija Amin, said several areas of the country were negatively impacted by the inclement weather. At a cabinet press briefing on Thursday, Amin said, and I quote, "The rivering levels are already quite high. The soil is very saturated across the country, and so we are very concerned with the increased potential for flood damage of homes, collapsed roadways that have been weakened over time by small landslips, damage to crops and livestock, and the well-being of our society as a whole. Farmers across the country have been affected by overland flooding and loss of crop." End of quote. And finally, with some international news, Israel carried out strikes in Iran on Thursday night, targeting its nuclear facilities, ballistic missile factories, and military commanders at the start of what it warned would be a prolonged operation to prevent Tehran from building an automatic weapon. Iranian media and witnesses reported explosions, including at the country's main uranium enrichment facility at Natanz, while Israel declared a state of emergency in anticipation of retaliatory missile and drone strikes. Iran's elite Revolutionary Guard Corps said its top commander Hossein Salami was killed, and state media reported the unit's headquarters in Tehran had been hit. Several children had been killed in a strike on a residential area in the capital, it said. Thank you for watching. I'm Antonio Day.
HUGHES MAHIPAUL leave door open for further APNU+AFC coalition talks. Is May Thomas still being paid by the government? GS JAGDEO says she won't be an elections candidate for the PPPC. AFC chairman alleges conflict of interest over AG's role in offering legal advice to GECOM. And amid US sanctions threat, JAGDEO says Guyana not relying solely on CUBA healthcare workers. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.